going. Let's get going. Let's get started. Yay!
Yeah. More woke Disney defending bullshit.
Well, we don't know. Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Smudcast number 604. I said this before a few days ago. Dudes like Elon Musk and Nerdrotic are wrong about woke Disney, Netflix Part 2. We're doing the video. I wanted to stop, I think, about 5 or 7 minutes in, but we only got halfway through, and apparently Whisp said, no, we gotta keep going. So here we are, for whatever reason. And I don't know what to expect. Whisp is going to say it's going to be great, but I have a very itchy trigger finger. I might cut this short, but we'll find out.
Oh, I hope we didn't get too far on the timer.
We're halfway through exactly. So
yeah, this is where we were.
Yep.
Okay.
So in case you guys don't know, the chat is a bit disabled for whatever reason. I don't know what the feed you could chat no problem in the right-hand side of your screen.
Yeah, I already gave the heads up within the chat so that people see it.
Yeah, but it does not work on my Streamlab's desktop interface for whatever reason. I'll have to play around with that later, so I do apologize if you don't see your chat in the screen there, okay? Could have been an update problem. I don't know. Couldn't tell you.
Something. But we can still see it for the record.
Okay, great. Anyway, let's get going. We're at 15 minutes and 53 seconds. I thought we were ahead of that. Okay. Fine.
Just a little. Yeah, it was close to that anyway, yeah.
All right, guys. Let's just get going. All right.
Is intrinsically woke. You cannot
no, it's not moving
into
on.
realms of fantasy where we go to fulfill our highest selves. You
Realms
cannot speculate into the future without the concept of progress. Sci-fi is from the ground up through its genetic code down.
Sorry, this is wonderful because he's making this conflation because he doesn't understand that progress is always good in his eyes because it brings us forward. It gives us new things. It makes us better. But what he does not understand is that progress and woke both just mean socialism.
Well,
because that's what progressive is meant for. And so the only people who use that 99% of the time are socialists referring to their own ideology. So when they say we need to be more progressive, they mean we need to be more socialist. We need to progress towards socialism because that's the right side of history, because it's inevitable. So we should actually work towards it to get to utopia faster.
But by virtue of time, we could say the story of or the setting of Fallout, which takes hundreds of years in the future, is progress because it's hundreds of years in the future when everything's blown up. We could take a look at Huxley's Brave New World and say, well, that is technically in the future, but everything's dystopian and we're using drugs to control people's minds and have them focus on sex and all this other crap. Like, that's not idealistic. That's the opposite. That's horrible. So most of these stories that are like, oh, a perfect futuristic world outside of like maybe Star Trek are really bad dystopian stories.
Yeah, but that's what socialists don't understand. And aren't there some socialist projects in Fallout?
Well, the whole Fallout
working super well.
Yeah, the whole Fallout. What do they call the vaults? Yeah, all the vaults are social experiments gone wrong. So that is not a good painting of the future. The future has been destroyed by nuclear fallout, of course, and everyone's mutated or trying to kill you. That's not pretty. That's not like forward thinking or progressive. That's destructive and evil. So,
but look, this is the thing. Mao did nothing wrong.
Okay.
Because he brought China forward with a great leap that cost how many hundreds of millions lives?
Yes.
Anyway, he said the statement last stream, so we'll just keep going.
Did you speed the video up to 1.25 like before?
God, no, I didn't. I forgot about that.
Okay. Also, I think there was a way for you to like pin my. I think you can pin my message so that everyone knows. Yeah, you can see it in the stream, but we can still see it.
Oh yeah. Okay. Anyway, let's just keep going. It's gonna take a while.
Makeup woke. Okay, look, if the idea that sci-fi is a little bit very intrinsically woke has triggered you, I want you to join me in some breathing. Put your hands on your knees and breathe. Just breathe.
What?
No. No.
Hey, hold on. I'm going to get some joystick.
He actually oh, he's on the floor.
Where's he going?
He's on the floor.
Whoa! What's happening?
Like the incense.
Trigger.
But I'm just like, he's on the floor. He's
ourselves
sitting his ass on the floor. Okay.
Yeah, man. He's pseudo meditating because he doesn't know how real meditation works anyway. Because his posture is shit. He's sitting on the floor, probably cross-legged, but he's slumping forward, and he's a pretentious idiot in everything he does, and somehow he has tons of money. Somehow he's a rich fuck. He doesn't understand anything or how anything works right.
He's doing the Indian Om mantra or whatever it's called.
It's Aum. It's a reference to gold.
Cryohazard 69 in the chat. Incense for the incense.
This just jumped really quickly into craziness. But
Okay.
Yeah, man.
guys, get your incense out. Start grabbing your knees and start saying Om and believe that.
Yeah, do like Cryohazard said. Incense for the incels.
Yeah, believe that Battlefield Earth is really woke or something. I don't know.
Yeah, he's doing the Aum at the front of his mouth. You're supposed to do that further in the back because you're supposed to get the vibration from it.
Okay.
That's details. But I just find it funny that first he goes into this crazy bullshit, probably a half joke.
I don't know.
And then if you know anything about these things, then it's also he's incompetent.
It looks like he's on a giant yoga mat, and he specifically sat here at the first part of his video because he wanted to do this stunt where he pulls out the incense and starts chanting. Okay, fine.
Yeah, to cleanse us of our disbelief that woke is good. What the fuck? Socialism is a cult. He has no arguments.
All right, here's the Giga Chad.
Arguments.
Thank you, Giga Chad. I don't like these goofy declarative statements he's making. Isn't progress a very relative term? Oh, yeah, for sure. Was the Third Reich more progressive than the Holy Roman Empire simply because the Reich came after it in terms of time and continuity? Oh, God.
Well, I can answer that. Julius Caesar was never on the cover of Time magazine. But in 1938... a certain Austrian man was.
Oh, boy.
Everybody loved National Socialism in the world. They all act like, only the evil Germans fell for it. No, the whole world loved it. The whole fucking world fell for this bullshit. The Swedes fell for it. Many of the other countries. They thought, Hitler is he brings actual progress. He's awesome. There's this new system.
Yeah.
And everything's so orderly. Oh, and he's cleaning the factories, and then he's cleaning the people.
Oh, God.
Oh, that's weird.
I keep forgetting about the guy that did this shit in Italy. What was his name?
Mussolini?
Mussolini, there you go.
Yeah, his version was a little different, but...
that was actual fascism.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway. 17 minutes. I'm already freaking out. Let's try and get through this.
Don't tell me this is not great.
You see, I don't want you to be triggered. I don't want you to be unhappy. We can just re-embody ourselves. And
Of course you don't have to be triggered. You're the one spewing the bullshit.
That you've just realized that sci-fi was always woke. It's okay.
What?
Don't worry about it.
No, it's not. Moving on.
You were ignorant, and you have now been saved, my children. So what's actually happening with Disney and Netflix, and Time Warner, DC, and all of the rest of these companies? The answer is CEF, the acronym for the Corporate Entertainment Franchise. Huh? From around the 1970s onwards, of course, art and culture always have a commercial side. Artists need to make money. Walt Disney, great artist, great...
What, from 1970 on? That never happened before?
Yeah, I'm just like, what the hell are you saying?
I don't know what's... Yeah.
When was Hokusai?
What is he talking about?
I love
Oh
bringing.
no,
him
not
in
not
because
not Hokusai again.
of course, Hokusai. But
Okay.
he made his money with the man who made the 36 images of Mount Fuji and the big wave. Great artist.
Oh yeah, okay.
Drew stuff on marketplaces and
Yeah.
and rice corns, but he made his money with porn.
Yeah, one
not
of the
with his
biggest.
art.
He made one of the biggest fetishes ever known to man.
Yeah, but that was due to censorship.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's
Because porn was censored, so he needed a way around. So he invented tentacle porn.
good. All right.
He
Because he
invented
needed to make money.
We are
Because that's what art is about.
we are way off topic, but let's just.
So is he.
I don't know what
So
he's
is he,
talking
yeah.
about. What is he even saying? CEF? Like what is?
He's talking about all the companies, like all the wokeness stuff. I'm at least grasping a little bit.
You could maybe pull it apart like Michelangelo needed a sponsor to make the Sistine Chapel, and money was where I was like, okay, yeah, sure.
I mean, he's saying that the two dudes are wrong about woke Disney and Netflix, and I think he's finally getting to why.
Sure, you're right. Sure.
think.
Okay.
I mean, he finally mentioned them directly.
Okay. Anyway,
So
that's
he's detoxed his spirit with the incense. Now he can talk about actual topics.
all right. Fine. Let's just keep going.
Storyteller understood how to build a business to support the art. But that got turned around beginning in the 1970s and accelerating
Really?
on from there until we
So you're saying the 1970s was when Disney started downfall? Okay. Wow. That's amazing.
You heard of the Disney Renaissance, my dude?
Point.
That's I've never heard of that time frame, but okay.
He might get to that in a little bit because he's on the 70s right now. That was in the 90s. So
Yeah. Okay.
we've reached a point where our culture is now dominated by corporate entertainment franchises. What Starbucks did for coffee, Star Wars did for culture.
What?
Star Wars,
I don't know.
Star Trek, the Avengers movie.
What?
I don't know.
Dude,
Just don't, it doesn't
yes.
make any sense.
How
Yes.
many decades did we have only 3 movies?
yeah, I'm just like, yes, these franchises have impacted pop culture, but I'm just like, this shit didn't start all the way back then.
How do you translate that to Starbucks? Like, what does that have to do with movies?
Because Starbucks is a cheap, overpriced product that, for some reason, people buy.
Caffeine. Lots and lots of caffeine in all of its coffee.
The point is, there's no comparison.
Yeah, when you talk about Starbucks, you mean like it's this name brand on every corner because everyone wants coffee on their coffee break, and they get so jazzed up on caffeine and sugar, and they go back to work and work really hard. And
He only brought up Starbucks to compare to Star Wars because my brand.
I think
Because big popular brand. That's all he has going for that comparison.
Yeah,
Other
you
than that,
could've
what the hell
said-
are you talking about?
could have said Dunkin' Donuts, could have said Tim Hortons, could have said any kind of franchise. I guess. I think that's what he's getting at.
I forgot
Hell,
the
like-
name, but
Not even the easy target of McDonald's.
yeah,
I
I
was like-
forgot the name. But before World War II, the predecessor to methamphetamine was very popular for people to put into their coffee
Okay.
because it made them awake.
Okay. Let's not get into the history of coffee and Coke and whatever. Okay. Let's keep going.
Yeah, the comparison
It's
sucks.
Game
Moving
of
on.
Thrones, Lord of the Rings, you name it. All of these franchises
All right.
are about producing a franchise that can essentially print.
I don't know. Lord of the Rings was only a book for I think 20 years. And we had some weird cartoons.
Yeah.
It wasn't until Peter Jackson directed the movies where Lord of the Rings got as big as the others you've mentioned.
Well, it was always
And it's what,
popular.
about 50 years?
Yeah, no, the books were always popular, and to see that in a movie format done very well was impressive. So all the fans loved it. The people who didn't know the books loved it. It was a big deal, the same way Star Wars was a big deal. So
Yeah.
it like the Matrix when it came out was a big deal, but it never really had the same lasting appeal as the rest of the franchise, if you can call it a franchise.
Is Shakespeare a product?
Sure.
Is Shakespeare a brand?
If you want to go that, well, no, but if you want to do this, like what he's trying to get at is, I think, is that it's popular. It's a big...
The thing is, if it's popular, then yes. But for example, if Shakespeare makes a play and it's really awesome, and then I think, there's this other play from Shakespeare.
Right.
Let's look at that, or get a copy of that and read it. And by that logic, then Shakespeare is a brand.
Yes, I would say so. That's pretty accurate. But it's very different when you're talking about the economics of, was it the 16th century or whatever, whenever he made his plays. And they didn't have corporations and industry in the same way we do nowadays. But it technically is a brand.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to see more.
Mozart.
Yeah, I'd love to hear more Mozart. I'd love to hear more Shakespeare. His first stuff was good. Let's see his second stuff and his third stuff.
We'll never get any more.
Yeah.
Generate shareholder value by just churning out product with less and less consideration for the art and the corporate entertainment.
You could say that in some cases with Tolkien or the Lord of the Rings stuff nowadays, but back in the day we had the 3 movies and you're like, that's fine. That's all we needed.
I wouldn't say less and less consideration. I'd say it's more so a mixed bag over the years. Because, as an example, DC was pretty struggling, like just in general, outside of the comics until Batman '89 came out. And that proved that DC can work outside of comics.
Yeah, then we got the 90s cartoon craze and all the Batman and Marvel
the animated
stuff.
universe. Yeah.
So
I'd say there was definitely, with what he's saying, like the consideration for the art, I wouldn't say it was a downward spiral. It's more clearly peaks and valleys.
Yeah, with Marvel and the DC animated stuff, they've done fairly decent. I mean, you could argue some is better than the other, of course. And the live action is not the same, or in certain cases. But to say it's because of a franchise that the consideration is not the same is like saying, well, who was the writer? Who was the director? Who was the stage director? Who was doing all the things to make the costumes look proper? Who was doing all the CGI to make it look real? That's the craft we're talking about. He is probably saying in general, less appreciation of the craft has become the norm, and
it's gone downhill when that's not the case.
It depends.
Not the whole time. No.
Yeah, like I look at, let's say, television and streaming stories in the past 10 years being a good thing, a very good thing for storytelling, because there's so much stuff out there, and you might not like the sci-fi stuff, you might not like the drama, Harlequin romance stuff, but there's something for everyone now. Some of it's really, really good, and it's on multiple channels. It's on multiple streaming services and on television as well. Television hasn't declined in quality, just not as many people are watching it. So they got to be smart. They got to do good stuff and watch it there. And the smart things is the people who make the stuff also sell it and license it to the streaming services. So it gets broadcast everywhere. So that's good because it's competition from a dying brand or a dying market. And we could bring it back to Marvel and DC, and I don't know how they're trying to bring back comics if they can. I don't think they can.
I think it's too late at this point.
Yeah. So
unless they somehow pull off a massive heel turn.
Yeah, but how would they do that?
That's my point.
Decanonize.
I mean, DC has the excuse of rebooting every less than a decade.
Right. And they would have to do something like digital comics or animated comics, like what are those interactive ones you see sometimes on your phone?
I mean, all DC would have to do is just do another crisis level event. For Marvel, it would be more tricky, though, but that's the general idea.
Anyway, let's see what he has to say.
Are corrupting everything about art in our culture today because they are just a factory production line. The reason why, even when one Star Wars product after another doesn't work, is because Star Wars was bought by Disney.
Why?
To be like a sausage meat production line just put into the production line that they have established.
Okay, he's trying to talk about something like the Marvel method, not the Marvel method, the factory or template for the good Marvel films leading up to Endgame. Like everything was leading.
Isn't he talking about Star Wars right now?
Right now it's Star Wars.
The whole thing like that after Disney bought Star Wars, like churning out one thing after the other. That is true, but Disney's always done that.
Yeah,
but they were the thing is, yes, that's the point. But they were bloody incompetent at it because they took incompetent writers and then put your amazing woke politics into it, propaganda, be preachy, be completely nonsensical, and then you claim that that's somehow good and wonder why they failed.
Right, and you could say the sausage that is Andor had some bad bits, but a lot of people overall liked the series. So they're going to make more of it. So you could argue that, but sometimes it's a broken clock. They'll get it right 1 out of 10 times. And we've seen that the past few years.
was too niche enough that they didn't give it too much oversight, maybe?
Well, I don't know the reason. I'm going to watch it soon.
I have no idea.
But, I mean, you have to be very specific when you say this sausage being made or the template that Marvel was doing or the template that Disney was doing, because we know why Disney sucks. The writers suck.
And they didn't even learn from the success of the early Mandalorian, especially episode 1. But later on, push the politics in again because Kathleen Kennedy is crazy, and for inexplicable reasons, nobody's firing her.
Yeah, and you
can't. I don't know how much she knows about skeletons in the closets of everyone.
Yeah, and you get. Sorry.
No, it's fine. Shouldn't talk too much. Not
yeah, and you can. Sorry. And it's like and you can't even blame it on the whole like conveyor belt mentality Disney has because again they've always done this with all of their properties.
Yeah. Then now they do. The thing is, only now when they are really starting to run out of money, or from their perspective, that it's all costing too much, that they're starting to go, this isn't working out. This is hurting us too much. So pushing the propaganda doesn't work. It only costs us. And it never... So I guess they hope that at some point people would be brainwashed enough to like it. And it never happened because it's just atrocious. The only people who like it are the people already crazy and indoctrinated.
All right.
And know nothing.
And are under, I don't know... immature in some way, have arrested development.
I just got a super chat from Copper Al. Can I join? I don't see why not. This is a nothing video so far.
Rigby said he wasn't able to join for part 2.
Yeah. I love that incense scene.
That was kind of crazy. Say, Copper Al, if you just pop on in, we'll check your volume, make sure you're good. Yeah, I don't know how long this video is going to go on for, but he sounds like he's just going to start rambling about the corporate machine.
We'll try, damn it.
Yeah. Trying to make a show out of this fellow, which I didn't really want to cover anymore and never want to cover again, but keep on going, I guess. Anyway.
He has 6,000 people who like him. That's great.
Yeah, yay. Anyway, Copper Al, are you there, buddy? How's it going? Doing okay? Got your mic working? All right, take your time. It's okay. We're going to keep going. Link is in the
The owl staring into our souls.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, I am.
All right, thank you, sir.
Hey, welcome.
How you doing? All right.
Oh, wow. I'm just wondering, first things first. My God, Smut, why did you call my book like Ruby?
I didn't.
What a stomp on my neck.
I did not.
Let's get a camera and make money off of it.
Someone else called it Ruby. I'm just quoting them. That's all I did.
And that's why that's why this will be Copperell's last Smudcast because he can't handle a take that bad.
Oh.
Yeah, that was
no. It's but
I'm kidding.
He's talking about like the 70s and all that. Disney had a movie in the 70s that was a sci-fi film, The Black Hole. And that movie was made to be their Star Wars.
Really?
And it didn't work. It was their first PG-13 movie as well, and they got a lot of flack for it.
It outright tanked, didn't it?
Yeah, it did tank. The movie's not bad on its own.
Metron in the 80s. That's
What was
technically sci-fi. The Metron. That's technically sci-fi.
Oh yeah, they did make Tron.
That was Disney?
Oh,
Wow.
I don't.
Yeah, Tron was Disney.
Wow.
And it's like he's just talking about the modern day shit, but he's saying 70s and all this stuff.
Yeah, the downfall of Disney starting the 70s. I was like, really? I don't know about that. Okay, I guess.
The strange date.
They didn't roll out with a lot of bangers in the 70s.
Yeah.
I also think that's when they got the rights for the Snow Queen.
Oh, cool.
In the 70s, but they made a movie for it.
And the any ideas they had for it were just in limbo until Frozen was conceived.
Yeah.
Holy jeez.
Because they threw everything that had anything to do with the actual fairy tale away.
Also,
because the actual fairy tale
what the
is
hell
actually quite evil.
Also, what the hell's up with the socialists liking Disney and all that? They a few years ago, they were calling him a freaking Nazi, and that was their own propaganda.
Look. That's double. That's the double thing. They are eternal children mentally. They never grow up. They grew up with Disney, so they love Disney. But they hate Walt Disney because they were told he's a Nazi. And Walt Disney is only called a Nazi because he actually called out communism. Not because he was for National Socialism. He just called out international socialism.
Well, he was also against Nazis
basically,
too.
Yeah, and it was basically an early cancellation of a popular person that they tried to do. And throughout time, they did manage to tarnish his reputation with that, because a lot of people actually believe that for some reason now. Because the lines just waited long enough.
I do want to say, it's like, I grew up with Disney as well, among other things. I did not buy that narrative for a single goddamn second. Even as a kid. I'm just like, really?
Did the Black Cauldron come out in the 70s as well?
I think.
Just was neutral about it because people claimed it, but never brought any evidence for it. So I just say, okay, people say that, but I don't see anything about it.
All right.
Anyway. 1985. Black Cauldron.
Okay.
Sorry. Anyway, let's keep going.
Established an out product at the other end for streaming services, cinema release, video games, you name it, lunchboxes, t-shirts, kids' toys.
They've always done this
from that IP. And if something good, like The Mandalorian or the first Iron Man movie, whatever it may be, comes out from one of these corporate entertainment franchises, it's essentially an accident. It means that an artist, someone with integrity, has fought against the executives running that franchise, the marketing people. They have fought all of that to actually make some art.
No, a lot of people are just not as competent as they would like to be.
I do want to clarify that the first Iron Man movie came out before Marvel was bought out by Disney. So that's a bad example right there.
Yeah, you'd have to argue that the producer or someone like the director in charge would say, okay, I want the story to be like this. And the writer's like, no, we're doing it my way. And you're like, okay, whose fault? Is it Kathleen Kennedy's fault? It's like, well, okay, when did this all occur that stories got bad? And what story specifically?
Well, that he's mentioned Iron Man. That actually literally did happen with Iron Man 2.
Because I would say stories got bad when the Writers Guild strike started and Hollywood just started copying Asian movie scripts.
Would you believe
them in a bad way?
Would you believe me if I told you that that's when Disney dumped Power Rangers out the window and bought Marvel to replace them?
Really? That's fun.
They owned Power Rangers from late 2001 to 2009. And funny how they resold Power Rangers back to Haim Saban at the same year that they bought Marvel. Coincidence?
Maybe they thought, oh, we don't want to do this cheesy stuff. We want to make.
The irony is that
the
irony is that Power Rangers under Disney is not all that bad. It wasn't until Haim Saban took it back that it really went to shit. And then when Hasbro bought it from him, it actually got good again. It's weird enough. Let that sink in.
All right. Let's keep going.
And we know we honor their names, but it would be foolish to ignore the corporate entertainment franchise, which is getting in their way at every stage
Is he reading a
of the
script?
process. I can hear people objecting, but don't these
Not
major
sure.
corporations have the resources to spend on the actors, the production talent, creating the CGI assets and everything else that's needed, and particularly the technology stack that a corporation like Disney owns? And for its day, Disney's
Seems very
technology
nervous
stack
somehow.
is or was very impressive. Of course,
No, he's
Disney
reading a script.
understood the animation
Mhm. When he's looking
process,
down.
but there's a pivotal turning point for Disney, which was a corporation in trouble for a long time, for a lot of the 90s and early noughties, until it bought Pixar. Although
The 90s and the what?
The naughties.
Hold on.
The zeros.
very impressive. Of course, Disney understood the animation process, but there's a pivotal turning point for Disney, which was a corporation in trouble for a long time, for a lot of the 90s and early noughties, until
If it's, I assume he means the 2000s.
Yes, that's what people called it for a while.
The naughties.
I don't know
You
why.
know what for that decade, noughties was one of the things that came up because of like no, nothing, null.
The not, yes.
Yeah, and so they came up with naughties, which because it's funny.
Yay.
And for him it sucks.
Naughty sounds like people that are on the naughty list for Christmas. What the fuck? Okay.
I've actually never heard that term.
But okay,
Really?
fine. I get that he's talking about the 2000s, what the name people used to use.
Wasn't
Fine,
that-
that's fine.
Wasn't that when we had 3D animation coming around and
The 90s, early to mid 90s, thanks to Pixar mainly.
Pixar? Yeah, exactly.
And which again, as as a reminder, Pixar were the ones that made the Genesis project sequence from Wrath of Khan.
Right.
The Genesis effect. Sorry.
I'm trying to remember when Jurassic Park came out. It was probably in the 90s. Early
Early
90s.
93, right before Power Rangers started.
Yeah.
Months before.
SGI workstations.
Oh, really? I thought Power
Mere-
Rangers was older.
Part of what helped Power Rangers' popularity was the fact that Jurassic Park came out months earlier because of the dinosaur theme.
Cool. All right.
Pixar, although in reality, it was bought by Pixar. Pixar led, interestingly, by Steve Jobs.
Pixar was bought by Pixar. Did I just hear right? What?
I don't know.
No, I want to hear that again.
Oh, no.
It bought Pixar, although in reality, it was bought by Pixar. Pixar
Oh my
led,
God.
interestingly, by Steve Jobs. And although the official ownership was that Disney bought Pixar, what really happened is that so much of the board control was given to Steve Jobs and to the Pixar executives that, in effect, Disney became what Pixar was becoming, which was the absolute technological leader in computer animation, which was going to be fundamental to creating these corporate entertainment
What does any of this have
franchises,
to
because
do
it's
with woke shit?
the high level of technology required to make the special effects, something like in the first Avengers movie where Thanos reaches out and crushes that moon behind him. You know, they are amazing special effects. And at a
Okay.
particular point in time, Disney had the dominant tech stack. But now you can go and download Unreal Engine 5 onto a reasonably powered laptop computer and start to make some very impressive special effects yourself.
Don't
We have
wanna
had
do
in the
that on a
corporate
laptop.
entertainment franchise and the technology stacks that they owned. We have had absolutely centralized culture, but now you don't have to be all that imaginative or speculative to see the growing possibilities of a decentralized creative process for the sci-fi, the fantasy, the escapism, the storytelling.
Can you explain to me what centralized and decentralized culture is?
Yeah, is he expecting a race or a rush of people to just download applications and start making like really shitty sci-fi shows in their spare time or something?
Does it mean that everyone has access to the big tools now, and
I guess.
therefore everyone can make the big shit?
If you don't know, it's really hard to learn these things. You have to go to school regardless if you have the tools or not, and it takes a good few years. And, you know, we have schools in Vancouver which are world renowned for CGI. And it takes a long time to figure out all these techniques, all these tools, all these gadgets.
Yeah.
You can't just download the app and make a movie or whatever.
Oh, you can work yourself through the help file,
Sure.
but that will take a very, very, very long time. I did this with 3D Max in early 2000s.
Yeah, I did Max too when I was in video game school. We did Softimage and Maya and Blend. We did some Blender, and the other one was ZBrush. But this takes time. You have to have a teacher. You need courses, and I can't see it. Like maybe you'll get like another group like. Who are the guys who made Ruby again? I can't remember the name. Chicken?
Rooster Teeth.
Rooster Teeth, thank you. It didn't just happen overnight. It took years. So, and even then people are like, the animation and the modeling isn't that hot either. So, but it still takes time. You can't just...
Someone insisted on using Poser.
Really? Wow.
Ruby is made with Poser.
Huh. Okay. Cool. Hopefully the professional version. But okay. Let's keep going.
And I wanted to switch the to a better software, but the creator said no,
Don't,
because he knows Poser.
That's
on you.
Poser, really? That's
that
was like a funny little thing to download, but you never use seriously.
Yeah. Well, I'd say for Poser it looks okay.
Oh, it looks pretty amazing if it's for Poser, yeah. Jeez. Like anyone I know in CGI or animation would be like, Poser? No, I would never use that. Why would we use that? There's all these better tools. Anyway, cool.
Does it still need to be owned by these giant corporations? I'm sure many of you have seen things like the wonderful fan movies currently being made about the Warhammer 40k franchise.
Sure.
I selected one of the animators of those movies for my top 21 sci-fi storytellers of the 20.
Why would you like Warhammer? Don't you think it's fascist?
Well, obviously, bunch of evil space marines for their religion trying to save humanity. It's very fascist.
Yeah, but these fan projects are usually one-man projects, and they take forever. And there's years, if not a decade, with the really good-looking ones like Astartes. Decade of expertise going into that, right. and talent because to make good, everyone can make animations if you run them through the process, but to make good animations, that's something you need.
Yeah, it's the same.
A little bit of a knack for.
It's the same with any passion project of people going to Kickstarter saying, I'm going to make the next space horror adventure game. And there's I can't remember the name of it. It came out years ago. One guy did everything. He did the graphics, he did the music, he did the level design, the dial, everything, the writing. And stuff like that is very, very rare. I think the biggest success was, what was that side scroller? Not a side scroller, but it was basically a 2D puzzle game with a turn-back mechanic.
Oh.
Do you guys remember the name of that video game? It won all these awards, and you find out at the ending that you were actually the villain, and you were chasing the princess, and the princess tells the story as if... Braid! There you go. Yeah, that was by one guy, I think. Passion project. So yeah, you do get these dudes who graduate from school, like, I can do it. They spend 2 years and make a video game or whatever. But that's still just one guy doing it based off his skill, not necessarily using a license or some brand name. And I can sell this to you, because we've seen that, and they turn them down every time. Like, was it Chrono Resurrection? That was like 98% completed, and then Square Enix, I think, went, nope. Cease and desist, and the whole project got canned. We see a bunch of those, of famous IPs that fans make, and because there might be the inkling of a financial return, they got to cancel them. So it's sad, but that's business.
I think in part, so one thing that made Hollywood worse was the writer's guild strike, and the other thing is, just as in video games, graphics got better and better, and that was the selling point for each next thing. And so the writing got lazy, because look at our amazing special effects. Look at our amazing special effects. Even better than the last game. especially with the sports games.
Yeah, I'm just curious where he's going with this, saying that the corporate method of making media is bad, but the individual who does everything from their imagination and ego and urge and passion is better. It's like, yeah, of course it's better, but there's a difference between having a singular viewpoint and having a well-constructed, organized machine that is part of, like, I don't know, 30 people's lives or maybe even more, all working together. There's various approaches to take. Like, you could look at No Man's Sky, and that was like a small team that were promising the moon and couldn't deliver. But they were passionate enough to keep working at it, and they just had more time. They would have done it in the first place. So, yeah, there's lots of things to consider.
Unlike a certain sci-fi game.
Have any of you seen Mad God?
No.
No, but I would like to see that.
That stop motion?
No.
I think that thing took like 10 years to make. And the guy went off and on with making it. And all by himself, and it's just this crazy trip of like a descent into hell, really.
Really? Holy shit.
And it's it's very I've seen clips of it, but I was just talking to my friend about it. And she's like, "You're gonna love that movie." And I'm like, "I've seen Hell. It does look like that, so okay, I might like this movie." And all that, but it's like just going on with the whole thing with a solo guy just making something out of his passion. It just takes so long, and even when you finish it, you still kind of get this. You might get this weird thing that's kind of disjointed, but also at the same time really cool, and all that. And he's like a big guy in the stop motion industry, and he just couldn't really get a studio for it.
Wow. Interesting. It is a hard sell when you're talking about stop motion or puppet animation or claymation or anything like that. It's very difficult to sell that these days. I'm surprised you didn't go to Kickstarter, though.
I'm surprised he didn't do that either. I don't know, maybe it's just weird.
Yeah, there's always a product for someone out there, and you just have to tell them about it. That's kind of the point of the problem with a lot of sellers and people starting businesses. They need promoters. They need marketers to tell the audience, hey, I need money. Here's the thing you love. Like when I heard about Planescape Torment's spiritual successor from one of the guys who worked on the game, and it's like, wow, I can't wait. I'll be part of that. And then you get it, and you're like, oh, this is garbage. You can't bring that lightning out of the bottle again. So it's you think of ideas that sound good. Like I'm banking on the guys from Konami who made the Suikoden series. Everyone got fired from Konami. They went to Kickstarter. They're doing their own version of the 108 Stars of Destiny from the Water Margin myth. It's like, wow, I can't wait to see what they're doing. And then they made a side scroller game like in the meantime, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's weird, cool, not my bag exactly, but I'm glad you guys are doing that. And they showed that at the E3. So that's kind of what happened with Konami. They do these miniature games. The same with Igarashi. He did that when he was doing his Kickstarter for Bloodstained, and then he came up with this Bloodstained 8-bit game. It was like, what? It was really good too.
I'm waiting for the third one. If they ever make
that's Konami for you.
Those passionate guys, they don't care about their, where they came from. It's like, no, we're going to keep making the thing we're really good at. It's like, yes, keep doing it. So
I wish they hurry up and make freaking Archfiend supporting Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh, really? Yu-Gi-Oh still?
Yeah, Archfiends are still a thing, but they only got two new support cards recently.
Oh.
No direct support. It's just in name.
Yeah, a lot of franchises.
Yu-Gi-Oh
we miss.
still.
Yeah, everyone misses Metal Gear, of course. For me, it's Suikoden. But yeah, there's lots of great companies that just dissolved, and like Westwood, Sierra, all those classic games. I don't know, not everyone likes adventure games, but I like Myst. I thought those were kind of cool back in the day. When technology was just taking off. CD-ROM games. Jeez. Anyway.
The talent is individual.
Sure.
And those individuals can work together in teams.
Sure.
And we don't need to go and work for the centralized powers like Disney and Netflix. And that's part of the problem afflicting these corporations. And that's a problem that's going to grow. But the immediate problem that these corporations have is their enormous size and the attempt to tell stories for our entire culture in the midst of a culture war. We're in a culture war. It's not just words.
Oh, nice. He admits that.
Yeah, but
you know what the culture war is between?
Not at
It's between sane people who like the hero's journey and socialists.
Yeah, but it's not between.
Who don't want to work for their treasure.
Yeah, but it's not between like Pixar and ILM. Like no one's like, oh, they got different stories and one's violent and one's nice. Like there's nothing like that. It's nothing to do.
No, the culture war is between socialism and non-socialism.
Sure, but like to put this on the face of the guys making the films and the video games is like, no, it's not. They're just workers.
But it should then tell him that if the socialism gets into all the products and all the products fail, that should tell him, even if all the products have no socialism in them, that them failing is a sign that socialism is losing the culture war.
Well, he better bring it back to sci-fi or science fiction with that, because if he doesn't, he's just rambling on about the culture war, and there's the Disneys, and then there's the ILMs, and they're doing the thing, and you're like, yeah, what's your point? Tell us, connect us, sir. We're waiting for a point here.
As our cultures have grown, there's more people than ever. Cultures cross national boundaries. We are hyper interconnected by digital technologies. And as all of this has developed, we have a growing culture war.
Okay.
And there are two very clear armies, tribes, or you might most accurately call them religions. The faith of the liberal woke people and the church of the conservatives on the other side.
Okay, so you're right about the woke people, but the woke people are not liberal. They think themselves to be so, but they are not, because they say liberals get the bullet too if they get enough power.
The church
behind that term. But the others aren't the conservatives. The others are just non-socialists. Everyone who's not a socialist is on the other side.
The Church of the Conservatives. I'm pretty sure you're describing the wrong political party, Chief.
He doesn't understand that.
Yeah.
Because where in his worldview there does Islam fit in?
We're not haram, sorry. Yeah, we're just not.
I think that is where his brain would break.
Yeah, I don't know where he's saying they're churches. Like you don't need an ideology to just not like something. It's like, I just don't like the product, guys. This is a stupid message. The story sucks. I don't care about the characters. It's not because I'm with Jesus. It's just because the story sucks. Nothing to do with politics. But he is admitting it as a culture war. Why he's relating this to, or how he's relating this to studios. Blame the writers, sir. And who hires the writers? That's it.
Agenda.
Anyway, 25 minutes.
I've heard people kind of refer to the woke as their own like church instead of a god. It's just social. It's socialism.
Yeah, it
is.
They're the cult here, not the conservatives.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Like I have no problems talking to people who are reasonable, and they could have very left-leaning views, and they can completely disagree with me. That's fine. It's when you start saying, well, I don't like this, or I think this is good, therefore we must ban the opposite thing. It's like, what? Wait, no, you don't have the right to do that. Like, just because you like using pronouns of whatever doesn't mean you have to force it upon others. That's not free. That's not allowable. You can't control people, and well, unless you're in Canada. There's certain things that just don't fly with this enforcement. This is why we don't like politics in general, because politics is just about control. And once you start flexing that political muscle for the betterment of culture or society to include the everyman, which apparently is a man who's not a man anymore, it gets a little weird. And you're like, I don't believe in what this is saying. You could do what you want to do, but let me do what I want to do. And the first part is freedom of speech. And as soon as you start subverting that or changing that or altering that, that's where we have problems. And this has been warned about for decades.
Yeah. And what socialists always do is that they use these liberties only for their personal gain to get into power. And once they are in power, they still keep those liberties for themselves. But you won't have them anymore. The people won't have them anymore because they need to stay in power. And so free speech is over because you have to have right think. You have to be politically correct, which means say what the party says. Because if you're politically incorrect, you are a, what was the word? Reactionary, a counter-revolutionary. You're against socialism. You're not on the right side of history if you do not repeat the dogma, as he correctly says, the religious dogma of socialism. And that's kind of evil. That's kind of tyrannical.
Okay. Got 7 minutes left.
Other side. Two sets of cultural values, two religions. Religion basically just means path. It's a path through life, and you follow a religion that gives you a path. And from their origins as political alignments in our society, these political groupings, these ideologies have become religions. Liberalism today is a religion. You advocate for social justice causes, you recycle.
You recycle.
See, social justice is not liberal. Social justice does not want liberty. Just look at what socialists argue for and read the Human Rights Charter and wonder, man, what of these things do socialists actually stand for and which do they stand against? Like private property, free speech, protection from bodily harm, presumption of innocence.
Yeah, well,
recently my government, the Social Democrat Party, just said in our Minister of the Interior, just said in Parliament, in the Bundestag, that she wants to turn around the burden of proof to more easily remove obvious enemies of the state.
What?
Yeah, the Social Democrats, the good guys, the guys who say, oh, we are not socialists, we are Social Democrats, and they want to turn around the burden of proof and do away with presumption of innocence. They want to start presumption of guilt, and that is completely against our constitution. And I would hope there would finally be a riot removing these traitors, because that is treason to the basics of our constitution, to the Human Rights Charter, which was written, both our constitution in Germany and the Human Rights Charter were written in response to the atrocities and injustices of the Nazis, of the National Socialists. And now we have the International Socialists telling us, oh, we kind of want to do that again.
I like how,
because in the end, there's really no difference between these.
I like how we brought up recycling. If you guys don't have a recycling program in your municipality, or maybe there's a private organization, it is completely run on profit. You cannot have recycling for the sake of it. It's too expensive. Nowadays, I don't know if you guys have like those little...
paper is a money printer.
Oh, yeah.
We have, in my town, we have free private companies that are carving up territory for their paper containers, because paper recycling is apparently an insane money printer.
Okay, well that's good, because it might be cheap to recycle, so they can use low cost resources, and then they sell it at a higher price. That's the whole point of recycling. It's not because it's good for the environment. Like when you learn about polyethylene and all its uses, it's like, well, once you start getting past, I don't know, the numbers 1, 2, once you start getting past 3, it gets more expensive nowadays, at least actually 7 years ago, rather. It becomes more expensive to do polyvinyl chloride, or like you think of PET bottles, that's polyethylene. That's still cheap enough to convert and use again. But all the other plastics like polystyrene, forget about it. No one's going to buy it because the chemical process to break it down and build it back up is too expensive because the chemicals cost too much. So who's going to buy it? No one. If no one's going to buy your trash to recycle, it's trash. It's that simple. It's always been that way. So whether it's not...
and then we sell it to China, and China throws it into the ocean.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's glass or plastic or whatever. It just no one's.
Then it breaks down into microplastics, and then we have that in our body cells.
Right. So the idea that it's some left-leaning, like save the planet bullshit, it's like, no, it's going to a landfill. If you can't, you don't have PETE1 or high density PET. It's just not going to work. Anyway, just thought it was funny.
All of you rubbish. You go and laugh at Hannah Gadsby gigs, and you do everything that your religion tells you to do to be a good person. And if you're a conservative, you get very angry about woke people. You probably run your own business, and hats off to you for that.
What?
And you maybe practice MMA fighting. I'm stereotyping both sides just to highlight how ridiculous both sides of the culture war are if you are a true believer. And here we have...
Well, the problem is your dichotomy is completely broken.
Well, he was just making exaggerations.
Because the other side is not conservatives.
Yeah, he was saying...
So one side is not conservatives, and the other side is not woke and liberal. Those are already two different groups.
To say that you're a business owner or you're into MMA is nothing to do with whatever political...
I think he wanted to make a Joe Rogan joke.
I guess. I don't know. That's weird.
And there are conservative people who believe in basic liberties. But I don't think he understands
I thought MMA was a woke thing.
What?
Really? I have no idea.
Yeah, it's man-on-man action, right?
MMA.
It's mixed martial arts.
Oh.
MMA.
Oh.
There's female
Oh, no,
MMA.
I did Taekwondo. I did an actual martial art.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
I love that joke.
But why then did he go on for the first half of the video just about all the sci-fi is woke?
Yeah, but where are we going with this? He jumped
because now he's complaining that it's just stereotypes. Like, why were you playing a stereotype and then trying to exorcise our doubts about wokeness?
This happens every time. He's like, why did you title the video whatever when you're talking about 12 different things? It's like, just get your thoughts in order, write an essay, record it, done. Like, that's it. Stop.
Maybe he's gonna get to the eugenics war from Star Trek.
Religion, eugenics.
Yeah, he's gonna get to that.
Sci-fi, everywhere. I'm gonna talk about stuff. This is my stuff video. Like, okay, thanks. Great.
And Netflix and Time Warner and the rest of them, there's half a dozen enormous cultural corporations.
Sure.
And what are they trying to do? They're trying to somehow make movies and streaming shows, video games super expensive. And they're trying to make them for both of these delusional...
No, they're not.
Nobody's making anything for the conservatives.
No. They're trying.
Hallmark movies, which are bad.
They're trying to make the woke games in the movies, but they're not selling.
Yeah.
The comic books are almost dead. Maybe some... what's that Midnight Suns Marvel game? Have you guys checked that out yet? Is that any good? I have no idea. No one? Okay.
I mean, it's at least doesn't appear to be woke. It's just Marvel XCOM. That's all I know.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
I mean, Mario...
I still haven't played XCOM.
Wisp, if you think that doesn't sound right, it's like Mario. There's still Mario plus Ravage, which is Mario.
That makes more sense.
How does it make more sense?
Because you can do anything with Mario, but Marvel is like that's how is round based not hitting anything. With Marvel superheroes, with their usually dynamic fights, good. How does that work? It sounds like it shouldn't work.
Imagine Cyclops with like 99.9% possibility of hitting a target and he misses. And you're just...
I was about to say Cyclops tried to hit a target. I was about to say it. You beat me.
Back then, from people that said that Ultimate Alliance would never work, and that did.
That was great. That was a fun
that was
series.
awesome.
Yeah, those are fun beat 'em up games. Those are great.
you could throw Wolverine with Colossus.
I still don't know why
I didn't know that for so long.
I still don't know why the hell Ultimate Alliance 3 was Switch exclusive, which on its own isn't an issue. But why didn't they take the chance to put in Link and Samus like Ravensoft wanted to do for Ultimate Alliance 1?
Oh.
That was a thing!
Because it's not Soul Calibur.
Long story short, before we go back to the video. Raven Software originally wanted to put Link and Samus into the Wii version of Ultimate Alliance 1, but Nintendo got pissy because the footage they were shown was of a build of the PS2 version with those two characters working. And that's why they pulled out of that deal.
Yeah, I see.
It's still released on the Wii, just without the Nintendo characters, because Nintendo got pissy because they thought, for some stupid reason, that their two characters were going to be on the other systems when that was not the case.
You have sullied our honor.
Even though they didn't.
Doesn't matter. They made it on work.
Samus that'll be cool.
Look, Gingerman, you don't understand. They made it work on the enemy system, and that is an insult to our honor.
But Raven made it clear that they were meant for the Wii version.
That doesn't matter.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, it was defiled by the PlayStation.
You don't understand the stupid mindset.
Well, that's the Japanese for you. Anyway,
Is it the same mindset that caused Bayo 3 to be as shit as it is?
oh, don't bring that up.
No, that's socialism.
Don't bring that up.
Yeah, there you go.
Don't start. We're not talking.
Let's keep going. Video.
Really,
Video.
I say.
Religious frameworks that are growing up in our society and coming under attack from both sides. A prediction. You're going to see, assuming that they're not instantly decentralized, which would be one way to solve the problem, but you're going to see these centralized
What does that mean?
manufacturers of factory-produced culture split. There's already a good example of this in the science fiction publishing world. You have Tor Books and Baen Books. Tor Books does all of the liberal, woke, progressive books. Baen Books does all of the
What is
kind
that?
of ridiculous
Publishers.
conservative science fiction books with stupid covers, which points out one problem in this.
I was
is that
about to get
nearly
them
all
as
of
a
the good
publisher.
creators are liberal. Talented, artistic, open, creative people tend to be liberal. Conservatives,
Oh,
when they
fuck
do
off.
their own culture,
Fuck off. We're done. Forget this guy. He's absolutely out of his mind. To label someone with a political
He's
ideology as a creative no-no or a dummy. Get lost. You have failed humanity.
He's overgeneralizing now because he had read these statistics and now makes it into black and white arguments and says therefore conservative people can't be creative.
This is
ever.
dumb.
I would very much want
which
to
is
know.
completely wrong.
I would very much want to know after that statement about science fiction books. I would like to know what he thinks of Asimov.
He pulled this out of nowhere. He just suddenly started talking
I
about
would like
publishers.
him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that after
like
he
him
said
to,
that the way he characterized the woke and the conservatives was just a caricature. But now he's overgeneralizing again in that very same way. I don't think this man is very smart. I don't think he understands what he's talking about.
I don't think he planned this out. I really do. You could say anything about any publisher. Well, it does Harlequin romance mostly. That's the audience. Like, great. Do you know they have a business model? They know the writers for that business model. They publish the books for the women. Good for them. It doesn't make them dumb. It doesn't make them smart. They just do what they sells, and they get the right writers to do it. They publish every other month, and that's that. Doesn't make them the conservative bad people or liberal smart people. Geez, come on. Anyway,
Isn't Tolkien considered conservative?
Pretty much.
His story is basically a biblical allegory in many ways.
Yeah.
So
he, with that statement, he's essentially just calling Tolkien dumb.
Well, anyone
and uncreative.
who
Because
does
he's making a black and white
who
argument.
does sci-fi or fantasy books that are conservative make bad books or whatever. It's like, this is so stupid.
So what is H.P. Lovecraft on the liberal side?
Yeah. Heinlein is horrible because he was talking about American jingoism. It's like, okay, I guess.
Heinlein. And what's that American writer who's a Mormon?
Oh,
One of the many.
yeah. Well, I'm sure there's. I don't know.
And I don't mean Robert Jordan. I mean that other guy who still lives. who they tried to cancel recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, someone with like a double first name.
Fuck, I forgot.
I haven't read his stuff.
I know Blaine Pardoe is conservative, and he wrote the BattleTech books, and they
Oh yeah.
try to cancel him.
Oh damn! I wanted to write him in the
I
letter.
don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
Anyway, memes.
Yeah, let's sadly just go to memes. This guy was just rambling and then somehow just randomly jumped to the topic of publishers and then just,
He doesn't understand anything.
conservative
What he's
authors are bad. Like, what?
But aren't we missing out on the 2 minutes of super insanity at the end?
Yeah,
Hello?
I don't care.
Super insanity?
Did I
Yeah, we always
disconnect?
have these last 2 minutes of super
No,
insanity. in
you're
these
still here.
videos.
You're still here.
All right, let's see what we got here.
I think I did.
It is December 16th. All right, cool. Let's bring up the stream memes. Let's go check the
Wow.
date. There we go.
Hello?
Yeah, you're still there, buddy.
Hello.
You're still here.
Oh, okay. I couldn't hear any.
Oh.
You just
Okay, what's-
disappeared on me.
All right, let's
Okay,
get going.
what-
This was
this?
this was before the stream. This is an Elon Musk. What is going on? Free speech, and then we have
ADL.
Joe. No, that's not Joe. Who is that? Who is that guy holding him back? I don't know.
The Amazon guy. Fuck.
It could be this is from that stupid Gillette commercial when the Elon goes to, the guy goes to see the cute girl and the other guy holds him back for some dumb reason.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Yeah.
who's it that owns Amazon? I forgot.
Yeah, it's Bezos. Jeff Bezos.
Jeff Bezos. Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Thank you.
Here is Joshua Phil. Read Jackson Rising by whatever. What the F? WTF is happening on Twitter? Must set to auction off Twitter furniture, other items from HQ as company is reportedly behind on rent. That's awesome.
Amazing.
It's awesome.
I mean, yeah, the guy just spent $44 billion on to buy the company.
Yeah. Get
Yeah,
rid of
look, John Peterson,
Also,
you don't
it
need
was
to
about
argue
to go
for you don't need
bankrupt.
to argue for censorship because Twitter is going to dissolve anyway.
It's great. Just sell all this crap off. Get rid of all the fat. See if you can make a lean machine like it used to be.
And then the whole thing about some guy like using a bot account to dox Elon in real time.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
If you guys ever heard of Elon Jet, that's a that's a bot account for tracking Elon. I'm just like, really?
Yeah.
These leftists have literally nothing to do with their lives.
Yeah, that's pure evil.
All right.
Yes.
Here is the cover or the poster maybe of the Black Hole
Black hole.
Disney film. Wow.
Oh, that was Disney?
Yep.
A journey that begins where everything ends. Oh.
I think it has some cool imagery in it.
And here we have Good Dragon giving me this flying guy in some sort of this rotoscope. This is great. Green
I
screen.
wonder if I've seen this movie.
Ah.
You know what? We mentioned Tron earlier, and I'm just like, only recently I realized that the guy that does Tron is also Sheridan in Babylon 5.
John.
Yeah.
Bruce Boxleitner.
Boxleitner.
Ah.
Yeah, I'm just like, it took until Whisp talked about Babylon 5 on number 600 that, hold on, wait a minute, that's the same guy?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah.
So this is
Yeah, but with I remember with like 6 years old, I saw a sci-fi movie on TV in the afternoon, and it was a horror movie with children. And I never found out what that was, and the few scenes I saw, they haunted me for a while. And because there was this thing in Germany where everything that's a cartoon, everything that's made by Disney, was automatically believed to be okay for children, so they showed it during daytime.
all right.
No.
Here is
Yes.
the last meme. It's I don't know what it is, but I got a description from Good Dragon. As a kid, I was traumatized by the ending of the film, so we actually watched the black hole.
The black.
The
yeah.
black hole acts like
Yeah.
a portal, and everyone gets sent to literal hell, but the bad guys stay behind while the good guys pop out in another part of the universe?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the ending.
Now that makes me think, what if the Doomslayer gets sent through the black hole? What would happen?
You just go back to hell and kill everyone again. Okay.
I mean, he already did that at Doom Eternal. What else is there to do?
Gotta make sure.
Sorry, Goo Dragon. I brought back those memories.
All right. Well, we're not gonna finish this video because this guy's a putz. I don't know what he is.
Yeah.
Accusing
What's a ponce?
a putz, not a ponce. Well, ponce is something else, but a putz. Yeah, no, you don't get away with calling people of certain political ideology or slant, even if you believe in something in a small way, creative or non-creative or hacks or whatever. That's just no. That's stupid. You're not worth my time.
If you wanted to make the excuse of like a multi-ethnic future, and it's like, yeah, everybody does that, but by that time, it's like BattleTech is an example. It's like, yeah, you have Germans and Mexicans living together in all harmony and everything, but they're at war with the space communists. So it's like, yeah, the future is multi-ethnic by design, but that's not woke. We're still fighting the space communists.
Right. We
have space communists.
The common elements of like a cyberpunk future is everyone speaking some version of some Asian language because that's going to be the more dominant economy. So everyone adopts the.
Not if I'm around.
Well, I'm just saying this is the theory that because there's so many Asians, they're going to dominate the economy because they want more Asian culture. That's the currency of the world, and then everyone like what was the language for what was that sci-fi show from Joss Whedon? Firefly. They all spoke Chinese of some Mandarin, I think.
Half like it's a mix.
Yeah. That's the idea. That's the premise.
In Blade Runner, they spoke City Speak, which had combinations of like every language.
Right.
But
yeah. So
mostly Chinese.
This is the futurist or the future idea of sci-fi writing that in the future we're going to have amalgamation of languages, not like Esperanto or anything like that, but just some real languages that are based off the dominant culture, which is either American
and
or Chinese.
which is a normal process that you get lean words into your language.
Yeah.
If there's enough reason to keep them.
That's why Europe speaks English. That's why Chinese is all over the Eastern world. That's why the idea is that the theory for Esperanto was there, but no one's going to adopt a language.
It's horrible.
Yeah,
it's a horrible language because it's why they make a new language so that everyone can adopt it as a neutral language, but then they use complicated grammar for it.
Right.
Because English has much simpler grammar, and that's why it's easier to adapt, even though it has stupid non-rules of pronunciation and
words
and how words are written.
Words you read or words you don't say, or vice versa.
Yeah, Esperanto is just a stupid idea.
Yeah.
It's like the IT joke with we have 24 standards for this connector. We need to make a universal one so that everybody can throw those away and just use our universal connector. And then we have 25 standards.
Power, network, RF.
And that's what Esperanto is.
Yeah. Anyway, that was...
Oddly enough.
Yeah, that was...
I did it.
An hour and 15 minutes, roughly? Yeah, roughly?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, that's what I was going to be shorter than I expected. But, yeah, thank you, guys. Wisp, this is all your fault, so I blame you.
Yes. I take full responsibility.
Yeah, but yeah, seeing him meditate.
Thank you, Wisp. I got to have fun.
Yeah, no, the seeing him meditate and go, oh, I was like, what?
So that actually means gold?
Om? I don't know.
Because it's not Om, it's Aum.
Really? Okay.
I love gold.
Fair enough. All right, guys. Thanks. Have a great night. Enjoy your Friday. Take it easy. Happy Christmas. Merry Christmas. All the good snowy experiences you might have this weekend. We'll see you guys soon. Have a great one. Bye-bye.
Oh, God, no snow here, please. It's horrible in Texas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, snow in Texas is like the worst thing ever.
Oh.
Because nobody knows how to drive on a normal day. You think they're going to drive in the snow?